Good evening. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is episode 4 of Talk About It with Marvin Lee. And this week, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I know that it's late. It's the 10:45 hour. I the earlier podcast and had a meeting I had to attend, but I want to Talk About It back to you guys because I am in continuation of the last episode entitled "How Did We Get Here?" This is episode 4, titled, What the Hello is Going On? I'm trying to keep it clean for the kids, and I don't want to go to YouTube jail or Facebook jail or any other kind of jail, but we're going to talk about a few things. But before I do get started, I do want to mention that, in the political climate in which we find ourselves as America is approaching its 250th year of existence, we need to be more vigilant and we need to be more diligent in our understanding of all things political. For me, yes, I am proud to be a Democrat, and I will say I am not saying that all Republicans are racist. However, it is true that the Republican Party is home of those that consider themselves to be racist. So hear what I just said. Everybody in the Republican Party, I'm not saying that all Republicans are racist, but I am saying that all racists seem to intend to find a home in the Republican Party. And I'm going to jump right in because, like I said, it's 10:45. Before I got a life. But I holding true form. I'm going to record it come hell or come high water. But the first thing that I want to get started on, and this is, I'm going to try to save the most outlandish for last, but I do want to start with, and I'm going to share my screen here because I'm reading a BBC article. I'm just going to touch on this. We're going to jump into it. So again, it's a BBC article that I'm looking at. I'm going to share my screen. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and his name being illegally added to the Kennedy Space Center. A U.S. judge has ordered the removal of President Donald Trump's name from the title of the Kennedy Center for the Performing Arts. The Washington, D.C. venue cannot be renamed without congressional approval. The judge ruled on Friday, also blocking the center's temporary closure during upcoming proposed renovations, which means that Trump can't just close the Kennedy Center because he chooses to, no matter how many times he lies about it not making, not turning a profit, but, whatever. So anyways, it continues. Trump's name must be taken off the institution's title, its facade, as well as any other physical or digital signage and official materials within 14 days, according to the order. A spokesperson for the center said it would appeal the name change order. Trump wrote on social media that he will be working with Congress to transfer this failing institution back to them. Unless I am free to do what I do better than anyone else, I am so over this narcissistic man. I have never seen such a senile senior citizen, dementia Don, who thinks that they're best at doing everything known to man. I mean, it's just the idiocy and the lunacy of it all. It's mind-boggling. Unless I'm free to do what I do better than anyone else, bring this institution back physically, financially, and artistically, I have no interest in continuing what could only be a hopeless journey into Never Never Land, he said on Truth Social. Trump announced the addition of his name to the institution, among other rebranding measures across the nation's capital last year. In February 25, he replaced several trustees on the center's board and appointed himself as a trustee before being voted in as the Arts Center's chairman. I could keep going, but I'm not going to. But I will say this. It was a board member, Joyce Beatty, an Ohio Congresswoman and Democrat, and other ex-trustees challenged Trump's changes, alleging in a lawsuit that they were stripped of their right to vote on board matters. And the way he went about doing this, I do remember, because I do follow the news. I do remember they didn't follow procedures in terms of, receiving all the lawful votes, and the Democrats that were on the committee, they basically iced them out. And illegally changed the board of trustees to do this thing. But Joyce Beatty, she brought forth a lawsuit. So thankfully, we do have people that stand up. And I do want to say this, because a lot of what I'm talking about now is the Democrats seem to have found their mojo and are starting to realize that you cannot show up at a gunfight with a water gun blowing bubbles or with rose petals, thinking that the Republicans are going to play nice, because they're not. It is so funny and amazing to me that we have so many Republicans that are now clutching their pearls, that the Democrats are taking pages out of the Republican playbook and fighting fire with fire. Do I like the way that our political discourse has gone? Absolutely not, because there need to be adults in the room. However, the times that we are in now are unprecedented. So that means that the methods that we use to try to course correct, they have to be unorthodox. We've never seen the times that we are in right now. Like I know I haven't. It may have happened at other points in history, but never in my lifetime did I ever imagine, or would I have ever imagined, that I would be seeing the decay, the demoralization, not only of this country, but of the office of the President of the United States. Never have we ever seen the office so degraded, disrespected, and just outright diminished. And no, I don't like Donald Trump. I've never liked him, and I'm never gonna like him. Before he ran for president, I didn't like him. The first time he ran, I didn't like him. This time around he ran, I didn't like him. I don't like liars. Never like liars, never like thieves. But the thing that I'm so amazed at is that, the Republicans that are clutching their pearls are just expecting there to be a standard for all people except for the President of the United States of America. The same president that had no problem posting a racist image or a racist meme depicting our beloved Obamas as apes. And that's one of the most racist tropes that you will ever see. And the fact that anybody could still defend this reprehensible behavior of his and pretend that he's not racist. I mean, let's just call a thing a thing. Like, it's time for us to stop being foolish. Like, just stop being foolish. Just stop. Wake the hell up. Please, just wake up. Because at the end of the day, believe what you see. Like, it's been this way for the past 4 years. I cannot believe this man is still in office after the Epstein file. And it's just, oh my goodness, I'm amazed. Had it been the other way around, and there's so many narratives that are out there, if he were really in the Epstein files, Joe Biden was president for 4 years, they would have come after him. Well, actually, they couldn't, because there was an actual pending litigation, so they couldn't bring forth the Epstein files. So understand this, and stop listening to the stories that the media spins the way they want it to be spun. Fox News, for one, which is, I don't like Fox News. I haven't watched Fox News since 2001. Whenever we went to war in Iraq, first George W. When we went with the weapons of mass destruction, and I haven't watched Fox since then, and it has been proven. Polls have shown that viewers who consume Fox News are amongst the least educated of all viewers, whether it's CNN, MS Now, any BBC, whatever. Most viewers on Fox News are the least educated and most misinformed, and that's sad. I wouldn't want to watch a network that had a close to $1 billion lawsuit levied against them because of the lies they told, because of the 2020 election and the votes that occurred during that time frame. But anyways, again, good news is, we hopefully won't have to see Donald Trump's name on the Kennedy Center for much longer. So that was the first thing that we're going to get into. So again, that's one thing. Now, secondly, when I talk about one other thing I'm going to talk about too is, I'm sick and tired of hearing the double standard. We got to stop with it. The Republicans that are out here saying that the Democrats are, responsible for this violent rhetoric and all this other stuff. Like, please stop, please stop, please stop, please stop, until you start at your own front door. Your president, who is basically has hijacked the entire Republican Party until you are willing to stand up to him, the bully that he is, the racist that he is, the violent, whatever you want to call him, insert adjective here. He is everything that you want everybody else to not be. You want people to tame their rhetoric. You want people to be nice, play nice, don't call people names. Meanwhile, this man has built a career on making fun of other people and their disabilities, and grabbing women by the pussy, and minimizing our veterans, and making fun of those who have disabilities. And I could go on and on. I'm just going to spell to confront him, the biggest bully of all bullies. Please miss us with the fake rage. We're sick of it. I know I am. I can't speak for everybody, but I can speak for me. Miss me with the dumb stuff, okay? Because it is just not, the cookie don't crumble both ways. It's okay as long as you do. It's good for me, but not for thee. That doesn't work over here. Stop. And if you are a voting individual, I don't care. This is where we need to unite. I don't care if you wear the title Democrat or if you wear the title Republican. At some point, we have to realize that the masses, the wealthy, they are against all of us and are okay with us tearing each other apart. Because at the end of the day, they are laughing all the way to the bank at our expense. We're the ones out here having to pay higher prices for mortgages and rent, and gas prices outrageous, and groceries are astronomically higher than they've ever been. Flood insurance, things that we can't afford. The working class, we're sitting here tearing each other down. Meanwhile, you got Elon Musk is about to become a trillionaire. Hello, we're shopping on Amazon. All of us, we've made Bezos super rich, and I want to pull this up here in just a minute because I just heard about. And I want to make sure I get this right, but I just heard about the Space Center in Cape Canaveral. Somebody asked me if I saw it explode on Friday. I knew nothing about it. So apparently I've just been busy. I've had a lot going on. And I want to see if it is true, because if it is, I'm going to get conspiratorial for a moment, because if indeed this happened, if Cape Canaveral mission capable after Blue Origin rocket explosion, I'm not going to touch that one right now because I don't want to be half-cocked and half-informed. But from what I was told, the entire Cape Canaveral exploded. I don't think that's what happened, though. But if indeed it did, it wasn't an accident. I don't believe it was. But until I know about it, I'm not even going to be continued on that story. But let's just go ahead. Again, I'm talking about the Republicans clutching their pearls. Again, Republicans and Democrats consistently, both parties now, both. I identify as a proud Democrat, and I'm saying that it's on both sides, but I will say this, I'm proud. If I have two parents, right, you can look at the Republican Party and the Democratic Party as the two parties that are the parents of the nation, right? You got mom and dad. If one of my parents is attacking the other one, look, I'm not going to sit there and support the one that's beating the brakes off the other one. I need somebody that's going to fight back. If you're going to let somebody attack you, number one, if you jump on me, you're going to have to fight me. You're going to have to beat me, okay? So I see it no differently with the Democrats and the Republicans. Granted, it comes down to policy, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to just roll over and play dead or be submissive to you and let you just mollywop me or just run roughshod over me. And that's what the Republican Party is content to try to do when it comes to the Democrats. And the Democrats seemingly have always shown up to be the party that when they go low, we go high. No, that was Michelle Obama. No, when y'all go low, we got to go lower now, because again, we are in unprecedented times. And if you want to get your clock rocked, hey, we can do that. But it needs, I'm grateful that we are finally starting to see the Democrats grow a spine or grow a pair, because it's just, I'm tired of being a part of a party that doesn't believe in fighting for me. I need somebody to fight for me. If you can't do it, get out of the way, let me do it. I'll take care of that. But anyway, so Republicans and Democrats consistently play the blame game following acts of political violence, with GOP officials frequently accusing Democrats of inciting threats by labeling Donald Trump as an existential threat, and Democrats pointed to Trump's own rhetoric and the GOP's reaction to events like the January 6th riot, which we're going to get to here in a minute. And I'm so fed up with it. Seems like every other day there's another attempt on the president's life. Somebody shooting, like, come on now. Like, I'm going to be conspiratorial because at the end of the day, we Democrats, we know you got one foot on a banana peel and the other foot in the grave, Trump. We know that. Ain't nobody checking for you. We're Democrats not trying to kill you. You are doing quite a good job of sabotaging yourself and ending your own presidency, which is why your numbers are in the tanks right now. But I am so sick. It seems like every other day, it seems like there's a shooting, and it's tied to, well, this is why we need the ballroom at the White House. First off, this $400 million ballroom that the American people are going to have to pay for, that allegedly it was supposed to be privatized, meaning that you have private donors. But why can you not raise the capital to take care of this ballroom, which, number one, you illegally constructed anyways? You just decided to just tear the people's house down because you wanted another vanity project. And you got these foolish people, especially all these people when they had the what was it, the statue of Trump at Mar-a-Lago, I think it was. Even evangelical leaders that went there, like, come on now, like, as a dog returns to his vomit, so a fool to his folly. And a lot of y'all, Trump is the vomit, and y'all are the dogs, and y'all are returning to the vomit and the foolishness and the folly of it all. But anyways, there is pushback where this violent, the rhetoric is like this whataboutism and the double sidesism or whatever. Pushback. Democrats have rejected these accusations of inciting violence as a cynical opportunism and projection. For instance, following the White House Correspondents' Dinner incident, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries told Republicans to clean up your own house, pointing to GOP hypocrisy regarding their own rhetoric and events of January 6th. Again, and we seem to have forgotten that January 6th happened in the first place. And I segue into where I was wanting to go initially, because again, you know, this is a late podcast. One more thing I want to say, since we're talking about the Democrats finally finding their footing and fighting back. Stephen Miller looks like he is just atrocious. And so he has something to say about James Tallarico, who James Tallarico is Democrats. He won the Democratic primary in the state of Texas for Senate, right? And he's running against Ken Paxton, who defeated John Cornyn. But anyway, so this clown decides that he wants to, if I was Stephen Miller and even looked like Stephen Miller, I wouldn't even open my mouth. I wouldn't say anything. If I were his wife, definitely, lady, you're married to one of probably the most reprehensible people known to mankind. So I wouldn't plenty by. But anyway, so he decides to, make his statement known. He posted on X or whatever. And so I forgot who it was on the Democratic account. She responded and says, "Shut up, you ugly F word." I'm glad somebody's finally saying what the rest of us are thinking. I'm glad Gavin Newsom is doing what he's doing, clowning Trump. Punch a bully in the face. The best way to shut a bully up is to punch them in their face. Bully the bully. I know a thing or two about bullying bullies because, hey, I'm one of those people that, hey, if you want to bully me, hey, that's fine. Just be in the mood to have your wig peeled back. I mean, I'm not inciting violence on YouTube, but I'm saying, so Stephen Miller, and let me just show you guys this for a moment, because I want you to see this. So let me show my screen one more time, because this right here is, again, as reprehensible as they come. Looks like an anal wart. And scary frog. Hang on a second. Where? Hold on a second here. Here we go. Be warned. Be warned. This is the person who decided to make a comment about Tallarico being transgender. Like, First off, what have transgender people done to you? Like, what have they done to you? It is just, I'm over him. So over him. That face right there, like, I'm not gonna be mean. I'm gonna let it go. But that right there, just anyways. I'm sorry if I ruined your night, and I'm sorry if I caused anybody to have nightmares, because that is really an atrocious individual. And that image is just horrible. Now, wait, what I wanted to talk about. This $1.7 billion fund that basically, well, I'm sure you guys heard it. Donald Trump decided he wanted the IRS for $10 billion, and he decided to drop that lawsuit in exchange Republicans say, I forgot about that, and they're okay with having pardoned all of these people. And Donald Trump actually thinking that we as the American people are going to pay for reparations to these people who we know are murderers. Some have been killed since they were pardoned after getting out of jail. Some have gone on to commit heinous acts of molesting children. This is all documented. You can look it up. We're supposed to fund reparations to them for basically breaking the law, committing crimes. If you were protesting during the January 6th riots, that, my friend, was criminal. And you have a president who wants to reward criminal behavior after having already pardoned them. But let us talk about reparations for slavery. Let us talk about that. What happened on January 6th was a travesty, and it never should have happened. And the gall of this man to think that we as American citizens want to have our taxes fund reparations for these criminals. Like, somebody make it make sense for me. Please make it make sense for me. When there are stark arguments against reparations for those individuals who suffered at the hand of slave trade. So let me just read a little bit. The global and local push for reparations. We're talking about reparations for slavery now. The global and local push for reparations is gaining unprecedented momentum, highlighted by a historic UN resolution. The movement spans from international diplomatic efforts to localized state-level policy campaigns in California. As far as international and federal developments, there is, with the UN resolution, the United Nations General Assembly adopted a resolution officially declaring the transatlantic slave trade as the gravest, in quotes now, the gravest crime against humanity. The gravest crime against humanity. And we know that there were many European actors that played their role. We know that there were some of the African nations that played a role, and many of them have signed on to this resolution. But then you have Israel and the United States, specifically those two, who have not signed on to that resolution. But you have Donald Trump, who has no problem saying the reparations are okay for those that rioted during January 6th, but for those people who we have known slavery by another name, not just through the Middle Passage and chattel slavery, but we've had to deal with Jim Crow laws. We've had to deal with the redlining. We've had to deal with all the different racist policies that have resulted, that have directly affected the lives of Black and brown people. There have been many arguments against reparations for Black people coming from the right, and even some of the more conservative leaning voices on the left. And we are actually sitting here having a conversation about a $1.7 billion slush fund of reparations for criminals that protested and damn near brought our country to its knees at January 6th. Are you serious right now? Like, I really need somebody to make this make sense for me. And this America in which we live, again, it's supposed to be the land of the free and the home of the brave, but it seems like it's the land of the dumb and the home of the dumber. But this is still my country. I'm still an American citizen. I was born here. I live here. And regardless of whatever my opinion is of this nation, I'm not going anywhere. And you can't make me go anywhere, regardless of who you may or may not be. I pay my taxes just like the next person. I have a voice and I have an opinion just like the next person. If you are a registered voter, if there is a shred of decency in you, at this next election, next general election, the midterms, this November, if you want to leave this nation better for the generations to come than you've ever known it to be, because I've always loved America. I've always loved what it stands for. I don't have to like you. You don't have to like me. I don't have to believe in what you believe in. You don't have to believe in what I believe in. But the freedom is, or the beauty is, that we have the freedom to be who we are. But what I don't agree with is you're not going to take away my freedoms, because we're going to talk about the great replacement theory one day, because that is the great replacement theory in a nutshell is many white people think that there's a conspiracy, or there's a concerted effort to replace them by allowing other immigrants, if you will, in. They're okay as long as the immigrant's skin tone matches theirs, but God forbid that it's an immigrant whose skin happens to be brown or black, or that comes from, in Trump's words, comes from a shithole country. There's a problem. But as long as they come from places like Norway or Spain or Denmark or somewhere like that, then that's okay. Again, stop it with the double standard, period. Now, I will say this. We have spent years as the evangelicals that believe in supporting missionaries, that send missionaries to other countries. Well, you know, every seed reproduces after its own kind. So when you send people out to other nations and other countries to evangelize these nations, guess what happens? You have sent so many people to other nations that you planted a seed. Every seed reproduces after its own kind. So America sent the seed to other nations, and the other nations, that's the harvest that comes back. So guess what? And that's why Scripture has something to say about how we treat immigrants, in case you're wondering. So again, stop it with the fake outrage, and stop it with the clutching of the pearls, because at the end of the day, this is not your country. This is not my country. I live here. But I'm going to say this, and then I'm getting off here. The earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof, and they that dwell therein. And if you're one that tells people if they don't like it here, they can leave. If you think this earth belongs to yours, and if you don't like how God himself has decided that it should be run, then maybe you should check out and leave. Because you don't own the lease on this earth. It don't belong to you, especially America. But anyways, I've ranted enough. This has been episode 4 of Talk About It with Marvin Lee. Again, I didn't go as deep into the hypocrisy with the, it's good for me, but not for thee, with the whole J6er idiotic reparations fund that I hope goes nowhere, which is not, basically, because if you can't make reparations for what you did as a result of slavery, then don't even fix your face to ask us as taxpayers, especially Black American taxpayers, to fund the reparations for those criminals. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed this episode of Talk About It with Marvin Lee. I hope to see you next week. You guys have a great evening.